live team coverage of breaking news. News Talk AM 580 WDBO, Orlando, Central Florida's news, weather, and traffic station. Depend on it.
From ABC News, I'm Daria Aldinger.
In 3 days, you've got the chance to set the direction, not just for this state, but for this country for years to come.
The clock's ticking down to a midterm election, which could shift the balance of power in Washington. President Obama at a rally in Connecticut. He was in Pennsylvania earlier today with stops in Illinois and Ohio ahead. Republicans are worried.
Despite the president's last-minute appeals, in 3 of the 4 states the president is visiting, Republicans show growing confidence. Here in Pennsylvania, for example, polls show Republican candidates ahead in the race for Senate, for governor, and for a number of House seats that are now occupied by Democrats.
ABC's Vic Ratner in Washington. The Postal Service has stopped all mail originating in Yemen for the time being as the investigation into package bombs continues. A Yemeni woman is under arrest. That country's president says she tried to send the explosives to the U.S. via cargo plane. A comic event on the National Mall with a serious message for Washington. ABC's Stephen Portnoy was at the rally to restore sanity and/or fear.
It was a 2-hour comedy show with reasonableness as its main theme. With the U.S. Capitol as his backdrop, Jon Stewart stirred the audience, speaking against the heated rhetoric of our era.
We live now in hard times, not end times. And we can have animus and not be enemies.
In the crowd, Lizzie held a sign that read, "Don't panic."
We're all trying to work together to make this country what it can be because this is our home.
The throngs stretched down the mall as far as the eye could see. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Forecasters told us at the beginning of the season it would be a very busy year for tropical weather. They weren't kidding.
Tomas has strengthened to a hurricane, and that's the 12th of the Atlantic hurricane season this year in 2010.
John Cangialosi at the National Hurricane Center. You're listening to ABC News.
Now, a WDBO news update from Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Temperature is 80 degrees. I'm Nancy Alvarez with our top local stories this hour. Less than 20% of registered voters in Orange County have voted, and today is the last day to vote ahead of Election Day Tuesday. Florida candidates for governor are kicking their campaigns into high gear. Democratic candidate Alex Sink is campaigning in Orlando today at Carver Middle School and at a Florida educators meeting. Her opponent Rick Scott is doing a bus tour across Florida with other Republican leaders like Jeb Bush. Scott is also campaigning at the Orlando Executive Airport and in Winter Park today. Orange County Sheriff deputies fired shots at a burglary suspect this afternoon. According to officials, the suspect was burglarizing a home in the area of Fairbanks Avenue and Edgewater Drive when deputies arrived. While fleeing the scene, the suspect hit a deputy's car with the deputy inside. Officers fired shots at him, but he kept driving. He was followed to the area of Forest City Road and Kennedy Avenue, where he bailed out of his car and ran. The suspect was found trying to hide in a home on Elmhurst Circle a short time later. Deputies discovered he had been shot in the hand. He was taken into custody. No deputies were hurt. Last-minute leak repairs have again pushed back Space Shuttle Discovery's final launch, this time until Wednesday. NASA delayed Discovery's flight to the International Space Station another day because more work was needed than initially thought to replace a pair of leaking pipe hookups near the shuttle's tail. The problem cropped up earlier in the week, forcing NASA to give up the original Monday launch attempt and instead aim for Tuesday. That one-day slip to Election Day had officials in neighboring communities worried about the massive traffic jams that might result from hordes of launch spectators and residents trying to vote. For more on these stories and the important local news of the day, be sure to watch Channel 9 Eyewitness News tonight at 11. WDBO News Time is 4 past the hour. Traffic and weather are next.
When the weather turns bad, make sure you turn to us first. A station to depend on for emergency weather updates. News Talk AM 580 WDBO.
Don't just cook to eat, cook to live with the next generation of Jenn-Air wall ovens. Hi, Jerry Jascott from Aggressive Appliances. And if you love your smartphone, you'll love your Jenn-Air wall oven. It walks you through the entire cooking process for precise, delicious results. Want a rare prime rib? Your Jenn-Air wall oven tells you what pan to use, what buttons to push, and even gives you a full color picture of your finished prime rib. The new Jenn-Air wall oven gives you the most powerful convection cooking system ever, along with the latest technology like full color LCD touchscreen controls. You really need to come see these new Jenner wall ovens in our fully functioning Aggressive Appliances showroom. And now, through October, purchase a Jenner kitchen and get up to a $2,000 rebate, plus a set of gourmet cookware. From sales to service, affordable to luxury, we are your appliance solution. Visit the Aggressive Appliances showroom on Mercy Drive or aggressiveappliances.com.
Good afternoon. It's 5:05 here at News Talk AM 580 WDBO, and it's time to check in with the 24-hour WDBO Safe Touch Security Traffic Network. Here's Paul Barnett.
I-4 is up to speed in both directions. According to the Department of Transportation cameras, we have a report of an accident on West Road at State Road 429 and another on Metric Drive at University. This report's brought to you by UCF Basketball. Join the Nightmare Revolution. Unite for Keith Clanton, Marcus Jordan, and the UCF basketball team. Get season tickets today at UCFathletics.com. On the station with traffic every 6 minutes in the morning, I'm Paul Barnett.
Mostly clear and quiet heading into this evening. Temperatures will cool overnight to a low of 60 degrees. After a cool start early on Sunday morning, we'll see lots of sunshine for the afternoon with a high up to 85. Eye on the tropics. Hurricane Tomas will continue to move into the Caribbean and stay well to the south of our area. From Severe Weather Center 9 and WDBO, I'm meteorologist Stephanie Dion.
And the latest scan of the WDBO weather radar shows no rain across Central Florida. It is 79 in Conway and 80 here at News Talk AM 580 WDBO. Central Florida's news, weather, and traffic station depend on it.
The following hour was paid for by the host and does not reflect the opinion of AM 580 WDBO. The Pool Fanatics are on News Talk AM 580 WDBO. Brought to you each week by your host, Tony Caruso, and his company, TC Water Features. If you have questions about pool maintenance or have been thinking about adding a pool, spa area, or waterfall, you need to call now at 407-290-0058 or 800-329-5858. Now, the Pool Fanatics.
Are you ready for the Pool Fanatics? Are you ready? It's nice outside. You can jump in the pool. You can watch football. You can listen to the show at the Pool Fanatics Show at 800-329-5858 or 407-290-0058. Today, we're going to talk about all things pools. We're going to take your questions on pools. We're going to talk about the companies that Tony endorses. Okay, who are those companies? Who does Tony Caruso like when it comes to pumps, to motors, to people to work on your pool? Well, we got a list of them here, about 20, 25 long, so that way you know that he's bringing a team to your pool and a team that you can depend on. You know, there's a lot of companies on there. There's an awful lot of companies riding around Central Florida with a pool net and a couple of hoses and a plastic sign on their pickup truck. Well, what were they doing last week? Lawns. Now, let's get with the people who know what they're doing about pools. We're taking your calls at 800-329-5858. That's toll-free from anywhere, 407-290-0058. If you want to talk about pools, if you want to talk about water features, I mean, Tony and I were just discussing kind of a cool idea for you lakefront people. You haven't even started yet on what you could make your lakefront look like. This guy, he could put water anywhere. So we're talking about some really cool things that can happen. You've been around Orlando. You've seen some of these cool fountains that turn colors. You've seen the water turn colors. You've seen the dancing waters. That can happen. What is it you say about the backyard, Tony?
Amazing things can happen in your backyard.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Well,
what do you think?
Well, my imagination just went crazy.
Wow.
I don't know about the audience,
well,
but...
think about it. You know, your backyard's a palette.
Mm-hmm.
Just be amazed.
And I would say, as I said to you when we first met, you know, if people would be honest with themselves, if you just would be honest with yourself, Mr. Homeowner, look around your home. You go nuts to make that front yard perfect. You run out and you get the Garden Rebel for the morning show, and you get my buddy Robert Vincent Sims, and you make that front yard look so beautiful because you're trying to show up your neighbors, and you want curb appeal. Your backyard doesn't have nothing out there. Maybe have a little pad. What do they call it? The pad.
There you go.
That you can put maybe 2 chairs on. And if you're like my old neighborhood back when I used to live in Eustis, a couple of clotheslines back there, why don't put a pool in there, some water features, and increase your family values. Have some fun with the family. You know, I can imagine, Tony, that you build a lot of pools for people who say, you know, On a regular weekend, one kid would go this way, one kid would go that way. The other kid was headed to the lake. The other kid was headed over to the beach. One kid, we didn't know where he was. Then we built this pool. All the kids are at our house now, and it is fun.
Family fun. Hey, a little shout out real quick. We had a Halloween party today for my grandkids. It's called the Caruso Halloween Party.
There you go.
My wife and I hosted about 50 children today.
Cool.
With about 25 adults. We had a carnival, had a great time. Great time. So I do not have an atypical backyard. Nothing in my backyard is typical to anybody's backyard. I'm being honest with you.
Sure.
And one of the ladies came up to me and said, why is your backyard not in Southern Homes and Garden? I said, well, probably because it doesn't really fit for Southern Homes and Garden, but I do not have an atypical backyard. And the reason I don't is because I wanted to do something that somebody else doesn't have. And that is, you know, a little bit of atmosphere. It's neat what we did is my pool sits about 65 feet from my house. So I do have a little bit of property by saying so, but I kind of grouped it in areas. You know, I got a cabana to the right, got a patio to the left, got a fireplace in the corner. You know, we kind of set it up a little differently because everybody wants to be in one contained area. So when we do a pool that's parallel to the back of the house, one of the biggest mistakes they make is they don't have a deck for it. You know, they want to entertain, but there's no deck space. So we try to maximize and get all the thoughts out there to make this backyard look wonderful. And landscaping is key. So when you talk about that beautiful front yard, your backyard could be a knockout. Mine's a little different. My backyard is plush. It's not as nice as my front yard because guess what? I live out back. Every day I come home, 365 days a year, I promise you 300 days a year, I sit outside. Every day when I come home. So I'm outside for hours. I enjoy the backyard. I enjoy taking care of my plants. I've got 1,300 bushes I hedge. 1,300.
You're kind of like an awful lot of our population. I just came back from the Ozarks where our family has a very nice home. See, to us, the front yard is the water. The backyard is that road that comes up that you drive into and get out and walk into the house. The front yard is the lake side of the house.
Yeah. You talk about what, different types of pools, how they fit, how they work. I build pools for people that want a purpose. For instance, if you want a pool that you can, I always say you want to be on a float and kind of bounce back and forth. You want to swim some laps. You want to entertain. Do you want a play pool? Do you want a pool with all kinds of features to kind of, make the neighbors a little jealous about what's happening in your backyard? That light show's happening, the lights and the dancing water and the programs and the automation, all those things kind of clicking together allow you to create a backyard atmosphere. Like living on a lake. If you live on a lake and you're looking in your front yard, looking at your lake, you're looking at this beautiful, vast piece of property out there. It looks wonderful. We can also enhance that too.
Well,
Think about that.
I mean, there's so much we could do. And at 35, if you notice your Facebook page, you're going to notice if you're working along at home with us. If you're playing the Pool Fanatics home version on Facebook, you'll notice that at 35, we're going to talk about some neat little ideas we've got about what you can do in front of your house if you're a lake house, which is kind of neat too. But, there's just so many things people can do. And we're not talking outlandish fees here and outlandish money, but it's basically whatever they can imagine, right?
Yeah. Think about it. Water features are limited to two things: imagination and budget. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm being honest with you.
Sure.
I mean, so are swimming pools. Your imagination and budget. We try to, people today are learning, that you're not getting it for, 50 cents on the dollar or 100% off of what it was last year. I mean, you're going to do that. You're just not going to get what you pay for. So, if you really think about wanting quality, it's going to cost you a few dollars more to get what you want. But at the end of the day, I assure you it'll last much longer. And the quality's there. So, yeah, your imagination, if it can run wild, we can really do it. And think about this. How do things, I'll pick on Disney for a second. How do they make things happen out there? Imagination.
Yeah.
Imagination becomes reality. If you stay with it, it's like growing up with a dream. If you stay with your dream, the dream will just progress to become a reality, but you got to stay with it. So staying with the imagination, hey, amazing things can happen in your backyard and your front yard, believe it or not. We also do water features in the front yard.
And, it doesn't really matter, I guess, when it comes to your expertise, that even if somebody says, well, I live in a small neighborhood, I live in one of the older Orlando neighborhoods where the lots weren't all that big, you still have room for a pool. You still have room for a lot of stuff back there.
We can cut that patio out and put that pool right up next to the house. Check this out, Rob. Last week while you were gone, I met a wonderful family that has a Frank Lloyd Wright home.
Oh, my Lord.
there is a pool in the backyard that is not a Frank Lloyd Wright pool, but it's 35 years old. And they want me to, and we've already designed it, and they love what we've done, convert the backyard into a Frank Lloyd Wright pool area. Well, think about that. He is very unique in what he did. So if you think about falling water up in Pennsylvania, we started with that look, and we're going to end up with that look, believe it or not. So she is wonderfully happy. She is pleased. We did it, believe it or not, first presentation, full-blown color, with all the color selections and all that. We're working with about 4,400 square feet in the backyard. So we're going to build a cabana that's going to have a stream going around it, the pools, some waterfalls, some conversation areas, a little bit of cut rock here, a little bit of cement here, just a very geo-looking home. But we hit it right on the first shot. So something we're going to start in the first of the year, gutting this backyard at. We'll spend probably about 5 or 6 months putting it back together. But you know what? If you think about taking the architectural design and making it reality, that's another thing. See, I have the luxury of working with just not my team of people, but I work with some wonderful landscape architects.
So the pool can actually be designed to fit the architecture of the home.
We do it all the time.
The neighborhood.
We do it all the time. Sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
Sure.
All right, let's go to Lou in Orlando. He's got a very important question for the man who's got the answers. That's right. He's our own Tony Caruso, Orlando Luxury Pools and TC Water Features. Lou in Orlando, sorry to keep you waiting. What's your call about?
Hey, how you doing? I got my pool pump when it kicks on. The motor, the pool pump motor, it makes like a squealing sound when it first kicks in. But after it starts running for, maybe a minute, not even, it'll stop making that noise. So I don't know if the motor's going on or what. It's been doing it for quite a while.
Lou, I got your answer. You got a bearing problem.
A bearing problem?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Years ago, it was cost effective to take a motor down and have it rebuilt, put bearings in it. But today it's really not, and I really like to tell you that there's some great technology out there that's going to allow you to save some money in the process. All right, do you have a swimming pool only, or are you pool spa, or just a pool only?
No, just a pool.
And how big is your pool there, Lou?
Excuse me?
How big is how many gallons does your pool hold?
Oh shoot, it's you got me on that one.
Okay.
It's about 30 feet long and. About, I guess, 12 wide or something.
Okay,
like
somewhere
that.
around the 12 to 15,000 gallons of water. If you have a pump, if you consider changing your pump out, please consider not installing a pump greater than a half horsepower. Do you have solar by any chance? Or a solar on your roof?
No.
All right.
No.
If you put in a pump greater than a half horsepower, you're wasting some good money. So
that's what's in there right now. That's what's on there right now. A half horse. Yeah.
There you go. If you got a half horse on your pool pump, you are better than 90% of the other people out there that have the incorrect pump on your pool. So consider changing out that motor and keep it to a half horse, and you got a bearing issue. All it's going to do is get worse. Now it's going to clean up a little bit, but it's going to eventually squeal and really upset your neighbors.
Okay, I appreciate it.
And, of course, what kind of pool pumps do you suggest there, Tony?
Well, I only want to go with a Hayward, man. I mean,
there you go.
Hayward A.O. Smith is their motor of choice, and it's a decent motor. I mean, we stick with it. You should get many, many years out of the motor itself, and good luck putting it in, Lou.
All right, real good. But you will put it in for somebody who needs it, right?
Oh, yeah, we'll put it in.
I mean, come on.
We'll put it in. Give us a call on Monday. We'll set it up, and we'll come out and put it in for you.
I have a toolbox at home, but it's only there just, So I got this girlfriend. I can say, look, I got a toolbox.
There you go.
That's pretty much it. I don't use it.
A motor change-out's about 45 minutes. It's not a big deal. It's just generally 4 bolts, a motor seal. We do it complete. Now, a lot of people will go out there and just put a motor in. We put the motor, a seal plate gasket, diffuser gasket, and the O-ring in. I mean, we do all that. Only because if you change out the 2 components and forget that an O-ring goes bad, guess what? You're back out there for another service call. So if we're about $10 or $15 more, it's because we're putting in a few more pieces of, we'll call it rubber for today. And that is the pieces that it's going to take to make this last. So we do it right. So it's about a 45-minute change out.
Good deal. I use Nick, the producer, to come out there and trim around my lawn. Not with a trimmer, with a pair of scissors.
There you go. Don't you call that a manicure?
That's it. Just right. Nick, you missed a place over there. You come back here? 800-329-5858 or 407-290-0058. Our apologies for him being on the air last week. And we'll be back on News Talk AM 580 WDBO.
Last year, hurricane season was not that active. But this year, don't get caught off guard. Only WDBO has Severe Weather Center 9 meteorologists Tom Terry, Brian Shields, Matt Meekins, and Ebony Dion watching out for you when you hear the WDBO weather alert. Stay tuned to AM 580 WDBO for new information to keep your family safe, secure, and informed. Your emergency weather radio is News Talk AM 580 WDBO. Depend on it.
This is WDBO Scott Inez. Bill Hull is here with us from Massey Cadillac. Billy, what seems to separate you guys from the rest?
Scott, we just try and be honest and fair with each customer. Even if you don't buy a car from us, we'll offer you a fair price and purchase it right there on the spot.
Boy, Bill, that sounds great. I also saw some great leases on the lot, like the 2011 CTS from $299 a month or the 2011 SRX from $339 a month, both for 24 months with approved credit.
Plus, we have offers like the new Cadillac Premium Care and no-cost maintenance program. It is standard on every 2011 Cadillac. It covers oil changes, maintenance, heck, just about everything.
And Bill, what about your Saabs?
We've got great rebates, up to $6,000 on 2010 models or 0% financing for up to 6 years. Check out the photos on our Facebook page. Just type in Massey Cadillac.
Same great deals at both locations. 2 miles north of Colonial on John Young Parkway or just south of the Florida Mall on OBT, and always online at MasseyCadillac.com. See Bill Hull for more details and lease qualifications.
Recently, on WDBO's Living Well program, host Dale Gardner, owner of Senior Helpers, spoke with Debbie about how Senior Helpers helped her parents.
Their helper is a godsend, let me just say that first of all. It's amazing what having somebody come in just 8 hours a week has done. The match was beautiful, and they thoroughly enjoy having her come. But the difference it's made is that my mom no longer has the health problems that she did. It's just made a huge difference. And now the time that we spend with my parents is quality time. We're able to enjoy being around them because the atmosphere is so much better. We really appreciate that.
Hi, this is Dale Gardner, owner of Senior Helpers in Central Florida. Call Senior Helpers at 407-628-HELP and join us every Saturday morning at 6 for Living Well right here on WDBO.
License numbers 299993681 and 230689.
We're the Freestylers here celebrating all the great things about freestyle cruising on Norwegian Cruise Line.
Like the incredible decade of freestyle cruising offer with free upgrades and spending money.
Yeah, and I was also thinking back on all the milestones in the past decade.
It all started with freestyle dining, letting people choose when they had dinner.
With whoever they want and where they want, too. I mean, you can have a different meal every night of your cruise.
Then Norwegian started freestyle accommodations like connecting rooms for families.
Or spa suites.
Or villas.
Truly something for everyone.
And now there's more entertainment options with Norwegian than you can imagine.
Everything from Blue Man Group to bowling keeps getting better and better.
Like I said before, to celebrate the past 10 years, Norwegian Cruise Line is giving an amazing decade of freestyle cruising offer for the rest of October.
You get free upgrades and spending money to use on board.
It's great, but only for a limited time, so we got to book now.
Yeah.
No, I mean it like right now.
Celebrate Norwegian Cruise Line's decade of freestyle cruising with great offers on 2011 summer sailings when you book by October 31st. Go to Travelocity.com/NCL or call 877-815-5446. Restrictions apply. Ships Registry, Bahamas, and USA.
Join the Air Force's Tops in Blue when they honor hometown heroes during Air Force Week. Performances include comedies and musicals and will be held this Saturday at the Plaza Theater in Orlando. These events are free and open to the public to celebrate Air Force Week. Tops in Blue performs all over the world. Their number one priority is to provide amusement to those Air Force members stationed at remote and deployed locations. They also serve as ambassadors for the United States of America and the Air Force. Don't miss a chance to see the Air Force's Tops in Blue free this Saturday at the Plaza Theater in Orlando.
Standing up for what's right. Neil Bortz at 9, Clark Howard at 1, and Sean Hannity at 3. Only on News Talk AM 580 WDBO.
Welcome back. Yes, it is. We are Pool Fanatics at 800-329-5858 or 407-290-0058. You know, one of the greatest things you can do is enhance the quality of your home and enhance your lifestyle, enhance your family, and, you know, just become more of taking your home and making that a gathering place instead of just a place where you eat and sleep. It can become a real lifestyle area, and that's what Tony Caruso does with Orlando Luxury Pools and TC Water Features. And again, we talk about everything that you can do to your pool. We always get questions about cleaning the pool and the pumps and all that sort of thing. But a perfect example by the gentleman who called in Tony, and he said that his pump or something's making noise. Well, eventually they're all going to get replaced anyway, but now is a very efficient way to replace them, right?
Yeah. Again, and stuff that we put on Facebook and Twitter. I don't do that, of course. My future daughter-in-law is doing that for me because
Good job.
I'm getting up over the hill a little bit, so it's easier for the younger folk to kind of take technology and run with it.
Mm-hmm.
They can type a lot quicker than I can.
Sure.
So I'm not the hunt and pet kind of guy, and I can do fairly well, but I leave that to her to do. So she does a good job. But 90% of all the pool pumps on the market today are too large. After 2006 or before 2006. So think about that, Rob. I went out another day. I think I told you, maybe it was about a month or so ago, 5,400 watts this guy was popping an hour. 5,400. That's 54 100-watt light bulbs burning every hour for, believe this or not, he wasn't doing 8 hours a day. He was doing 10 hours a day.
God, would I hate his power bill.
Yeah, about $300 a month. You know what? We could do all of that on one pump because he had a pool spa on a negative edge or zero edge. And could do all that on one pump, believe it or not. And he burning energy. And energy, if you don't mind paying the power company to do this, then continue to do this. But in December of 2011, you won't be doing this, by the way. You're going to do what the new energy law does, and that's going to require you to do. It's going to require you to do on your primary filter pump, which would be the pump that has a filter attached to it. Any pump 1 horsepower or greater shall be 2-speed. With a default speed less than half the whole speed. So basically, if it's a 1 horse, the default speed is going to be about 3/8 of a horse. Mm-hmm. It can't be half the whole speed. So you're going to see a lot of technology coming out. Right now, you currently have a single-speed timer. That makes no sense to you because this means you flip the timer on, it runs, the timer goes off.
Yeah.
There'll be 2-speed timers out there. You're going to have a timer that's going to have a low speed and a high speed on it. And they're already out now. I'm getting flooded with emails and faxes that are telling me, hey, it's out there. It's been out there. It's just that now we're having to move forward. Another thing that's coming up, in the commercial end, we have a new ADA compliant law. I believe there's 36,000 swimming pools, commercial pools in the state of Florida are going to be required to have a hydraulic lift to bring you out of the pool. You believe that?
Huh?
Yeah, we just now see the federal government's now getting involved in my industry as well as Consumer Safety Product Council, which also monitors the things that happen in our industry as well, and everything in cribs and toys. But every commercial pool by I think it's July of 2012 will have to have a hydraulic chairlift put in it.
Now, when you say commercial pool,
hotel, motel, apartment complexes. Anything that deals with the public. Mm-hmm. So we've got, there's a lot of laws coming up.
But what about homeowners associations? Will they have to put that in the residential pool of the neighborhood?
Not in a residential neighborhood. It's just for commercial usage, like a community pool.
Yeah.
God. So, it's just one more thing we have to deal with. They're making pools safer. I mean, all commercial pools, I think as the middle of next year, will no longer be on direct suction. All pool spas, wading pools will be on gravity feed. So it's just basically slowing the water down and not ever having an issue with entrapment, ever. So we do realize that swimming pools are safe. There has never been an entrapment in a single drain pool with the cover in place. That's a big word, isn't it? With the cover in place. Remember, there's 10 million swimming pools in the United States, so there's not one documentation of anybody ever being entrapped in a single drain pool with the cover in place.
Telephone numbers and websites.
407-282-4911. That's 407-282-4911. Or visit us at OrlandoLuxuryPools.com.
All right, we have so much to talk about and so much to do in the next half hour. No reason why you can't have the radio on and watch football and call. Your multitaskers out there. Call and find out about your pool. And, hey, it's not too late to talk this next half hour about heating your pool. All of a sudden, it's going to start turning cool now, huh? Well, we said that a few weeks ago, then it got hot again. But I think now we're getting on the cusp of a little bit of fall weather. And you can find out that it's not too late for old Tony to come out there and make it a warm, snuggly old pool year-round, not to mention a romantic hot tub. 800-329-5858 or 407-290-0058. What goes on in the hot tub stays in the hot tub. We're Pool Fanatics on News Talk AM 580 WDBO.
This is Jim Turner. Coming up Monday on Central Florida's Morning News.
Charlie Crist was trying to persuade them to get me out of this race.
It's the final countdown for Vote 2010.
I do know that it was happening.
At 7:10, who's up and who's down with Washington Bureau Chief Jamie Dupree.
Just how many seats could the GOP win in the House?
We'll talk to the candidates, the political experts, and check out the latest poll numbers. Plus, check out the road ahead with traffic and weather together every 6 minutes. The midterms and more Monday morning on News Talk AM 580 WDBO.
The station Central Florida turns to first for live team coverage of breaking news. News Talk AM 580 WDBO Orlando, Central Florida's news, weather, and traffic station. Depend on it.
The weekend before the election and campaign heat continues. President Obama is due in Chicago in a few hours after stops already in Bridgeport, Connecticut and Pennsylvania earlier. ABC's Ann Compton with canvassers in Philadelphia.
These aren't voters, these are canvassers, young people wearing bright blue T-shirts. At the back of this gymnasium, hundreds and hundreds of clipboards with maps of specific Philadelphia neighborhoods and flyers to put on doors to get Democrats out to vote.
Republicans' confidence, as ABC's Vic Ratner.
Despite the president's last-minute appeals, in 3 of the 4 states the president is visiting, Republicans show growing confidence. Here in Pennsylvania, for example, polls show Republican candidates ahead in the race for Senate, for governor, and for a number of House seats that are now occupied by Democrats.
Postal Service stopping all mail originating in Yemen till further notice as the investigation into the terrorist package bombs continues. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Award-winning news.
I like to get the information from what I feel like is a balanced perspective.
Depend on News Talk AM 580 WDBO, Central Florida's news, weather, and traffic station. Every day, the financial landscape changes.
You know, there is a clear trend today that we as Americans have lost confidence in our banks, in corporate America, in our Congress. We feel betrayed.
And every day, Clark Howard is there to help you navigate through it.
And as somebody who is a free marketeer, and as somebody who's been an entrepreneur for most of my adult life, even with all these enterprises behaving badly, it is still my belief that overwhelmingly most business people do business in an ethical way. Most are just trying to provide a product or service that you want to buy. And there are certain segments of the economy where, for whatever reason, a lot of people in those segments lost their way. It is just unfortunate that we're in a position that we're giving money to companies that long ago lost any moral standing, not just with me, but with the American people.
Weekdays 1 to 3, only on News Talk AM 580 WDBO.
It's 5:32 here at News Talk AM 580 WDBO. Time to check in with the 24-hour WDBO Safe Touch Security Traffic Network. Here is Paul Barnett.
I-4 westbound on State Road 535. The 2 right lanes are blocked due to a vehicle fire. Expect delays starting at State Road 528, that is. I-4 eastbound from State Road 536 to Central Florida Parkway. Expect 10 minutes of travel time due to congestion. And there is an accident with lane blockage on Central Florida Parkway at Whisperwood. FHP's on scene. This report's brought to you by UCF Basketball. Join the Nightmare Revolution. Unite for Keith Clanton, Marcus Jordan, and the UCF basketball team. Get season tickets today at UCFathletics.com. On the station with traffic every 6 minutes in the morning, I'm Paul Barnett.
Mostly clear and quiet heading into this evening. Temperatures will cool overnight to a low of 60 degrees. After a cool start early on Sunday morning, we'll see lots of sunshine for the afternoon with a high up to 85. Eye on the tropics, Hurricane Tomas will continue to move into the Caribbean and stay well to the south of our area. From Severe Weather Center 9 and WDBO, I'm meteorologist Stephanie Dion.
Checking out the WDBO weather radar, looking at clear skies across Central Florida right now. It's currently 78 in Rosemont and 79 here at News Talk AM 580 WDBO. Depend on it.
When it matters most, remember News Talk AM 580 WDBO, Central Florida's news, weather, and traffic station. Depend on it.
Welcome back. We are the Pool Fanatics, and of course, the biggest pool fanatic of them all is Tony Caruso, the owner of Orlando Luxury Pools by TC Water Features. And when you look around Orlando and Central Florida and you see these outstanding swimming pools, you see these beautiful fountains, and Tony's probably had a hand in it somewhere along the line. And we can talk about some really cool things that he has designed for people. We also wanted to talk about some of the things you can do just with water, because water features is a big part of what Tony does. So let's say that you got a lakefront place, and we were kicking around an idea a few minutes ago, and I said to Tony, people got waterfront. I've got an awful lot of waterfront in Missouri, and I'm thinking we better take a road trip. But we got all this shoreline out in front of our house. We got this dock sitting out there, and it's just sit there all still, and I'm thinking, wouldn't it be cool? You know, if Tony was here about 5 minutes, an hour from now, we'd have water shooting over the dock. We'd have different colors of water. We'd maybe have a fountain like you see in some of these nice lakes and ponds around Orlando, you know, with the water spraying up at night, maybe turning colors.
We can do it.
And I'm thinking, those of you that live on the lake, why haven't you ever done this?
Well, Rob, what we've done...
How cool is that?
It's cool. Think about this. About, I'll do Metro West on Kirkman Road.
Yeah.
Those two big fountains, that's a liner, by the way. That's a liner. It's man-made. They dug those. It's a liner. We did those water features, I think, in 89.
So that's floating, the little ring that sprays the water out.
Those particular ones aren't, and here's why those aren't, is because that's a fixed water level.
Oh, so okay.
That stays fixed.
Yeah.
So there's we actually build what's called concrete bollards. They're big, huge concrete structures that have fixed platforms that have fountain nozzles on top.
Well, let's say that you're north of here on the chain of lakes or on the Butler chain of lakes. All those rich people out on the Butler chain of lakes, I just gave you all an idea how you can spend more of your money out there.
There you go.
You can be the first on the Butler chain, you know, to be the neighbor of all those rich and cool people out there that we love you as neighbors, man. That's so cool. But it would be so neat if you would enhance your waterfront and had a fountain out there by your dock.
Think about that. What we did Vistana Resorts, by the way, on 535. Well, they did some man-made ponds between all of those timeshares, and we did floaters out there. One of the first is probably 82, 83, maybe 84, where we did floating ponds. There's a bunch of them we did. Every time it inched in, inched out, we put a floating feature around.
So it's a self-contained unit of the light and the water spraying up. And the pump is somewhere underwater on a platform or somehow hooked up to it somehow?
Hey, that's technology, Rob.
Yeah,
now
I don't
you're
know
getting
how
it.
it's
Now,
done.
you would have come to work for us. We'll hook you up.
I was going to say, I can't know the secrets, but we all can imagine.
But the answer is yes. All stainless steel hardware. It's got screening in them. They have backwashes in them. It's all self-contained. All we have to do is tether them. We have to tether them somehow.
Sure.
So if we could tether between maybe a seawall and a dock, or we put some anchor points in, all we have is a power feed leading from the fountain up into a power supply, put it on a panel, wire it, time clock, whatever you want to do, automate it. Think about that. We do some Hayward automation on it.
And you put a little GFI on there, right? Because you got to have your GFI.
You got to have your GFI. I'm not sure how that's going to pertain to fountains because, you know, we're going to, in the 2011, actually in 2008, to NEC, National Electric Code, we're going to have to put a GFCI breaker on every pool pump installed. Think about that. Yeah, it's about $130. We're not going to get away from it. It was a concession that we had to do in order to keep you from having to spend another $800 on a bonding grid around your pool. Yeah, don't you hate it, concessions? We're all going to go out and vote next Tuesday, so please vote no on Amendment 4, please, so we can all stay busy this year. So that's my political talk this year. Vote a no on Amendment 4, please. It's a bad deal. Yeah. So anyhow, moving forward, we do that, Rob. We do floating fountains.
Cool is that?
And they're
but
around.
You know, we have grown up seeing those in towns. We've seen them in public parks. But I haven't seen everything because I haven't been over with the high rollers in Alworth lately. But I live on a chain of lakes up there. You know, you got Griffin, Harris, Eustis, Dora. Now, Mount Dora, you got some money. I don't see anybody with a fountain out by their dock.
No, you don't.
Now, how cool would that be?
That'd be really cool because they allow you. And I guess what it would be is, Rob, we'll kind of hold this little secret to ourselves a little bit. We'll investigate some EPA issues and go and talk to South Florida and St. John's and see if they have any issues with it. I don't think there's any issues.
No, we're doing spraying water.
Well, here, the cool thing about that is you're enhancing the quality of that water, by the way.
Or oxygenating it.
We're aerating. That's
aerating.
well, we want to aerate now.
Say.
I'm sorry, oxygenation is great, but aeration is even wonderful.
Aeration's better?
Yeah, aeration, because now what we can do is we can put all kinds of different nozzles on there. If we wanted to do a floater self-contained in a location, I could put a cascade that'll shoot 100 feet in the air if you wanted to. Or we could put in a 3-tier or a 4-tier. We can do fountain heads that'll shoot at 50 feet in the air and 50-foot spread, or anything there smaller. Or we can shoot water over your dock. We can shoot water back over your dock. We can shoot water from your land into the water. There's tons of things you can do. We can light it, not lit, daytime view. If you had a roof on your boathouse, I could put a rainfall up in there and make it rain. If we had the water coming down hard enough at night, we can project images onto that water and have a little show. We might even be able to watch a movie. Think about that. That's how cool water is. The technology is out there. So it's thinking out of the box, working with quality people that think out of the box, like the Imagineers. Imagination. Amazing things can happen in your backyard. So think about that lakefront, too. It's in your backyard.
Lakefront division of TC Water Features. I can see it coming. I might have a new career here.
There you go.
I'd be the Ozark head guy in that. We'd still be doing Orlando stuff here. All right, anyway, let's go to AC in OV, or La Vista. What do you got going on out there, AC? I don't quite understand what's written on the note here.
After I listened to you guys, I just started talking. All I wanted was above the ground pool. That's it.
Why do you want an above the ground?
Because of a small lot. No. We used to have an above the ground pool, right? We have a drain field, right, that runs through there.
Right.
We're on septic tank, and my plumber says every time he goes out for a plumbing problem, if people had a pool in the backyard with a drain field, that it affects the drain field. Is that true?
Depends on where the drain field is in relationship to the swimming pool. That's a good thought. Now, think about this. When someone tells you that comment, now there's a lot of new rules, so we can talk about that for a second. But think about this: where's your drain field in relationship to your pool? In today's society, hang on a second. In today's market, the health department's got totally involved in where the pool can be in relationship to the tank.
Yeah.
And to the drain field. But it's always been there, by the way. It's also relevant to where the water line to your home is in relationship to your septic tank and your drain field. But, AC, I don't know where the septic or drain field is. Yes, it is an issue. It is totally an issue. I don't see it being an issue with a vinyl liner pool other than the fact that the liner is going to keep any intrusion out. But if the liner fails, and then it brings the intrusion back in, so that's the only drawback to an above ground liner pool. You can put a smallest pool in the world in any backyard that you can put a vinyl liner pool in. I promise you.
Well, what he was telling me that the sun takes more moisture out of the pool than the drain field, the drain field itself.
Well, that's Mother Nature. That's evaporation. You're going to sit here, and Mother Nature is going to dictate if the relative humidity is 90% outside. It's doing a whole lot more air saturation than it's 40 outside. If the relative humidity is 40% outside, think about this. I always bring this question up or comment. I looked outside my pool steaming. Well, check this out. If it's 55 degrees outside and your pool's 80, guess what it's doing in the morning? Yeah. It's steaming off. That is heat rising. That's creating moisture to the air. So guess what? Your pool will promise you it's evaporating. It's exactly what it's doing. So when you're driving down the road and you see a lake or a pond steaming, guess what? It's moisturing off. It's evaporating. That's just Mother Nature, that if we're not fortunate to have 10 million pools in this country indoors, so we're susceptible to evaporation. There's nothing you or I can do, whether it's in ground, above ground, on ground, or in your home. You are going to lose water in your pool. No matter what happens, it's going to happen.
So my question is, how far away from the drain field or the drain field itself should a pool be?
The new rules, I believe, state 35 feet from the drain field to your pool, and that has to be permitted. I'm not sure how that's going to involve you on your liner pool, but an in-ground pool now goes to the health department, another bureaucracy move that we have to go through before we actually get a permit. So please call the building department before you put that liner pool up if you have a drain field and see if you have any issues with it.
All right, great. Thank you.
Have a wonderful day, sir.
All right, you have an awesome show. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And
Thanks for listening.
Sort of a related issue, I've got a friend that lives up in Lake County, and he recently got a notice from the state that somebody passed some new regulation that all septic tanks in Florida are now going to be inspected yearly.
Absolutely. You're
at a cost of what?
Yeah,
I forget how
and
much.
that's another thing. And it's another revenue generator. There's a big issue. Not trying to get off the track about pools, but on the east side of town here in Orlando, they're doing the same thing. And you know what people are going to tell you? They got to move out. They can't afford to pay to have the tanks brought up to standards. But you know what? That's bureaucracy doing what it's doing. So we are governed by the Florida Building Code. We follow the building code, and we adhere to it. So, you know, the luxury of me sitting on the 2 state panels is kind of, I get a little voice in this, by the way. You know, I'm a consumer. Think about this. Believe it or not, folks, even though I build swimming pools, I am still a consumer when I go home. So I don't want to pay any more than I have to, and I have issues with bureaucracy. That's why I'm on the panels to work for the consumer. I'm doing everything I can to stop the bureaucracy from making us do things that we don't need to do. Prove things need to be changed, and we'll make changes. Remember, swimming pools are very safe. Swimming pools are as safe as we could possibly make those. It's people that don't make them safe.
There you go. Now, you were talking during the break, and this is what you can do, folks, with imagination. And it's all there. All you need to do is get your priorities straight. You want that 38-foot boat that's going to cost you slip rental and gas and all that? Or do you want to put a pool in your backyard and the water features and all the cool stuff and entertain right there at home and be the house for your company and for all of your circle of friends? And you want to be the place where everybody wants to be. Now, how cool is that? And your kids actually want to stay home. How about that? All right, here's the deal. A guy goes to Tony. And he was a football fan? Tell us this story and what you're doing for the guy.
Check this guy. This guy comes into my office about 3 weeks ago, and he says, you know what, I'm a football guy, so all you Gator fans out there, UCF Knight fans out there watching the football games, you can do what I'm going to suggest to you if you have a swimming pool. He asked me to design a pool so he could bring all his football buddies over and watch the game in the pool. Well, I said, how about a spa? He said, okay, give me a spa too. So what we did was, check it out. We designed a pool and spa that would abut to the cabana. So what we did is, instead of having the spa, jets, and bench face the pool, we spun them around to face the cabana. Check it out, Rob. We also put a sun shelf up on that end, wrapped it around the spa so you can put all the little mini chairs in there and be undercover and watch the football games. Let's go basketball and go Magic games, so we can do all that. All the sporting events are outside. Think about that. Your pool area is limited to the imagination. What do you want it to do for you? It's not, and we don't duplicate swimming pools, by the way. We don't mass produce them. We don't duplicate them. We want every pool to be different. So this one's pretty neat, you know. We've built indoor pools, outdoor pools. We built pools that butted up to the house. So think about that. What do you want? What's the pool going to do for you? So thinking outside the box. Spa turns around the other way, sitting there.
So, again, you know, the guy came to you. You know, I just want to bring this down to table conversation. The guy comes to you. You didn't pull out some 3-fold brochure that says you got the 60 by 30, you got the 20 by 10, and you got the 100 by 40.
We had a few limits. Right. Well, we didn't.
That's all you got.
We didn't, and we worked with the pallet he had. His pallet was long and narrow. Long and narrow. So it had an overhead power line, so it even had more restrictions in that. I have to be 10 feet from the water, from a overhead power line, also to a screen enclosure, depending on which municipality you're in. So we had a long and narrow application. So, you know, by the time it was all done, it flows. Think about it, flows. Water flows. It flows. So we're going to put in all the spas that we build. We put adjustable jets in, too. So Mama doesn't want a hard-blowing jet, but Daddy does. You know, we can raise them up and turn them down. So all the jets we install and all the spas we do are adjustable, not the one that just sits there and blows it out. Yeah, we could put the whirly-birds in there, the pulsators in there, the turn up the pressure, turn them down, all kinds of cool stuff. It's just really, what do you want? You know, so we really, really, really think out of the box when it comes to swimming pools. And by doing that, you can create your own atmosphere. So think about this. Amazing things can happen in your backyard.
There you go. Don't forget, we're 10 minutes away from news, weather, and traffic, as there's still national, international discussion of what were those bombs doing on those planes from Yemen. And the election is 3 days away. That and much, much more coming up. Plus, we're going to talk more pools on the Pool Fanatics right here on News Talk AM 580 WDBO.
For breaking news, turn to us first.
We do know that the packages originated in Yemen. They do apparently contain explosive material.
News Talk AM 580 WDBO. Depend on it.
Right now at Courtesy Honda, it's our 000 event. Any questions?
Yeah, what are the 000s?
0 down payment, 0% financing, or 0 payments for 90 days.
Wow, that is a great deal.
You got it. Plus, right now, get a new 2010 Civic LX for $179 a month. Or pay just $1 more a day for a new 2010 Accord LX, just $209 a month. Both with 4 doors and automatic. And both with 0 down payment, 0 security deposit, and 0 first payment. Just 36-month leases plus tax, tag, and title with approved credit. Don't miss the 000 event for a limited time only at Courtesy Honda on Reinhardt Road, just south of the Seminole Town Center Mall. Civics, $179 a month, 0 down payment. Accords, $209 a month, 0 down payment. We're Courtesy. We're Auto Nation. We're changing everything.
Who are you going to call? Call Courtesy!
Any questions? CourtesyHonda.com. And now, all Courtesy locations are open for service 7 days a week.
If you're adding water to your pool more than once a week, chances are you have a leak. So always look before you dive and call 407-426-9995. That's the number of the Leak Doctor, the pioneer in leak detection with over 25 years experience locating all types of difficult leaks. Frequently adding chemicals to your pool to fight algae can be another sign of a leak. Call the Leak Doctor, 407-426-9995. If you have loose tiles or cracks in your pool, you may have a leak. Call the Leak Doctor, 407-426-9995. Leaks like that eventually show up on your water bill. The Leak Doctor's highly trained and certified technicians have the technology to pinpoint the problem. 407-426-9995 for pools and spas and all types of water leaks. Call the Leak Doctor, 407-426-9995. And remember, until the Leak Doctor arrives, always look before you dive.
Ow.
Business banking just got easier with cash management banking from Centennial Bank. Use your office PC to make a deposit, transfer funds, generate payroll, plus bank after regular banking hours or on weekends, and you may even get faster access to your funds. Find out more at one of Centennial Bank's 6 Central Florida locations. Call 888-372-9788 or visit my100bank.com. Business banking that really is better from one of the strongest community banks in America, Centennial Bank. Member FDIC.
Do I go with an Apple or PC, desktop or laptop, new versus refresh, or do I just fix my old computer? That's the kind of questions I get. This is David Levitt, host of Tech Talk Sunday at 3 p.m. on WDBO. Let me break it down to you in an easy-to-understand language. At the end of the hour, you'll be that much smarter when it comes to computers. At 4 p.m., Jimmy Farrell and the staff at Cox Marketing will be in with advice to assist you when marketing your business, company, or product. Sunday at 4 p.m. on AM 580 WDBO.
The Neil Board Show.
Harriton High School, they have a program where they provide an Apple laptop to all 2,000 students. But you know what the school doesn't tell the kids? We can activate that camera anytime we want to.
You don't even have to be using your laptop.
Neil Bortz, the high priest of the Church of the Painful Truth.
The school had security software on these laptop cameras where they could turn on the camera and watch whatever is going on. You spy on the student in his bedroom with a camera, and the government school says we were only trying to be supportive of the student and his family. Isn't that government for you?
Neil Bortz, weekdays 9 to 1, right after Central Florida's morning news on News Talk AM 580 WDBO. Orlando's news radio station, News Talk AM 580 WDBO, Central Florida's news, weather, and traffic station. Depend on it.
Welcome back. You know, you too are a pool fanatic. You just really don't know it yet, but you really are. 800-329-5858 or 407-290-0058. One of the cool things about TC Water Features is Tony Caruso and his whole family. And the thing is that we talk about from week to week, and this is so important. When you talk to a lot of people who've had pools in Central Florida, they talk about a nightmare, and it's not a nightmare when you go to Tony. I mean, it gets done, and you take such pride in it, and you probably I bet Tony gets invited to more pool parties than anybody in Las Vegas or Los Angeles. I mean, you know, more than the red carpet people. You know, this guy, he builds the pools for the people. He makes their dreams come true. What's wrong with that? But I've heard so many stories, Tony, and I imagine you have. You're on the state boards. You know, hey, this truck came in. They put this hole in the yard. They drove past the neighbor's yard and tore up their lawn, and I haven't seen anybody in 3 weeks.
Rob, we have a nickname. We're called the Village Pump Crew. You know why?
Why?
We've been bailing people out for almost 25 years. We do probably about 10 or 15 a year where people have gone in, and it's unfortunate. I really can't tell you, if you don't do the research, especially in today's market, you have all the information you could possibly want. If someone gives you a name of a company, a person who is a qualifier, a phone number, and you can do tons of research about that company and figure out who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't do your research, and I always tell people, look, if you go to my website, there's a link that'll take you to the state of Florida. You can check my license out or anybody else's license out to see if they're legit. They have been a good contractor. They've been fined, reprimanded, suspended, revoked, whatever there may be. It talks about what the qualifications they have on their license. So please, the information is free. Do your research. Please, it's free. So I want to give a nice shout out. We have picked up a new partner this week.
Who we got?
We got up to 24 sponsors now. Oh, we really want to go there. Atlantic Service and Supply is our solar-powered pool pumps. So those of you, think about that. For those of you who just flat out want to get off the power grid and only have a swimming pool only and do not heat it, we have solar-powered pool pumps out. So think about this. This solar-powered pool pump is just a small step forward to where this industry is going. We're going off the grid. We're going off the grid. I'd say within 8 years, swimming pools will be off the grid. Number 2 user of energy in the Southern Belt is a swimming pool pump. Number 2. So AC, which we all got to have.
Yeah.
If we got a pool, we got to have a pump. So why not be one of the 90% who get off the program and get onto the proper pump technology, and let's get off the grid.
Man, that's cool. All right, 2 minutes to spend with Philip from Orlando. What's your question? Real quick.
I just want to find out what's the smallest pool you can actually put in, because I heard you talking with the other guy, and my buddy's looking. He was thinking he was going to put an above-ground pool, but if I can get him to put the in-ground pool, that would be better.
Well, Philip, we can do anything. We can do everything from a spool. That's a spa in a pool. That could be whatever you want it to be. We do spas. Let's say we do a pool that's 3 or 4 feet deep. I've done that. The smallest pool I've ever built, believe it or not, is 5 by 10. 5 by 10. You can jump across that. But
now, does that have flowing water?
I'm sorry, Philip?
I'm sorry. I said that would be great if you could do that.
Have them call my office, 407-282-4911. I'm in about 6:15 every morning, so that's 407-282-4911. Appreciate your call. Give us a call.
And what's the website while we're on there?
OrlandoLuxuryPools.com. That's OrlandoLuxuryPools.com, where amazing things can happen in your backyard.
Now, when you're talking about a 10 by 15 or whatever.
5 by 10.
5 by 10.
Yeah.
Is that one of those that has the flowing water so it acts like you're swimming?
That's a swim spa.
Oh, okay.
So we do swim jets too, which is those high-powered jets. We could do a pool, a 5 by 10 or a 5 by whatever it may be, any kind of depth you want to do. We put a swim jet in there, strap yourself in, and turn the pump on and hold on.
Really?
Yes, sir. We do them all the time. Called swim trainers, or fast lanes, or swim jets, Bazoo jets. Tons of cool stuff out there that if you don't have the room but you want the exercise, strap on and hang on, because those things have 3, 4, 5 horsepower pumps in them. Will flat out make you get some exercise.
That's a really neat deal.
It's a great deal. Company out of Georgia we use called Fastlane, or Fastlane is what we use. Endless pools.
About a minute and a half. Do they still have time to call you at the office tomorrow? What's the number to see if you can come out and put some heat in their pool?
Absolutely.
Good job.
Call me. I'll heat your pool up. Why are you going to have a pool? It's like the boat Rob talks about. You got the boat, you put it up for 3 or 4 months too cold. Why treat your pool that way? Let's put some heat in there. And let's talk about, we don't have to always use the blue bubble cover to cover your pool to keep that heat in. Remember, if you don't protect the heat in your pool, you could lose 80% of what you gained that day, and then you start over again. So remember, if we're going to heat your pool, let's talk about reducing the energy you're going to use by using other technology, which is now an improved means other than the blue bubble cover. Think about that.
All right, very good. So all of this stuff available through Tony Caruso at the great pool company. You're going to love it. And, if you've already got a pool, let him come out and see how you can run it more efficiently. If you've got a pool that you can't use because cracked, broken, foreclosed home, whatever, let them come out here and take care of it for you and get it back. The big green swamp, things like that.
You know what? The pool's
it really worked.
Hasn't lost a drop of water. It's been on
Is
for
that
2
right?
weeks. Yeah, we had no rain, and people are going, well, the pool's, holding water. We don't have an autofill on it. I don't have an auto drain on it. Haven't put a hose in the pool. It's been 2 weeks. It's beautiful. Builder loves it. Let's call us up. We'll take care of your problems with your pool.
The Pool Fanatics, Tony Caruso, owner, Orlando Luxury Pools and TC Water Features. Stand by for the tops and news. What's going on out there in your world? You need to catch up. What about those packages from Yemen? Are we still on alert? We'll find out. All coming your way on News Talk.